Hello everyone. I'm sitting here. This is something I always do and I hadn't really thought about it. And I thought I need to maybe share that with you guys. Doing practices is kind of like almost feels like homework, right? And it's like, I don't usually just sit down and practice things. So I was trying to think how I've done it in the past that was kind of fun. And I thought, make some cards or make some practices that are practicing the brushstroke. So here is your traditional, this is what I teach in actually my online course. And in my workshops, we start out with thin brushstrokes using the tip of the brush, light pressure. A little bit more pressure is a medium brushstroke, and then more pressure is a wider brush stroke, which these are great. I actually love doing these, but if these are kind of boring to you and you're like, I don't want to just sit down and do lines and brush strokes, here's the side of the brush. This one is putting as much pressure as you can on the brush and really opening up that belly, and you get this thicker brush stroke. Here's using the side of the brush and little dabs. So I have an idea for you because I think this could be really fun. What if we made, this is a paper I found in my stuff from a while back, but what if we made practicing these brush strokes really fun? So I've got here, here's some thin lines. Look at the fun designs. That's a lot more fun than just doing, your traditional, just straight thin lines. Here's either thin lines or thicker lines, but it helps you to get that control of the brush and get that feel for the brush. Here's little dabs where you're just using the tips of the brush. Glazes, and we're going to go through all these on a paper. Or I'm going to. I hope you give them a try and they're a little bit more fun. You could do a whole geometric card. Use one of these cards and do one of these designs and make a pattern, cover the whole entire sheet with that. Glazes where we could lay down one flat wash and then let it dry and glaze over it with another color to practice, like how much water and what two colors when they're glazed together, what does that create? Here's using the side of the brush. Now, how fun would that be on a whole card? And I even put in little dots, flat washes, and adding in, I've seen people sell, this is artwork, where they do all these flat washes, and I've created them here on YouTube as well, which is all just one color, and you're practicing controlling that water. Damp and damp is how I teach it. And then I added in thin lines, compound strokes, thin and thick, and then thicker lines, and it makes a beautiful design, a gradiated wash where you're going from dark to light, you're pulling it down, and a variegated wash where you're moving from purple to blue, all things you need to practice. And then you could go in with a pen, a white pen, an acrylic marker from a hoo-hoo, and draw in some designs, and you're getting to practice these things, but yet you're making it's fun. Like, I look forward to doing this stuff. So let's go ahead and play with that a little. I've got let's see, what am I using here today? I really need to order some more Artisto. I'm trying not to spend the money, and so I had this cold press, and I love Meeden. It's a little bit more, not much, you guys. If you want to really level up to 100% cotton, it's not that much more than the Artisto pads. As you know, I love these. Let me open that up. So this is summer 2024. I saved these and catalog them all. They're fantastic. They've got great texture. For a beginner, I think they're excellent. You can also, if you wanted to gift something you painted, you just pull it out. It's perforated. But it's such a valuable reference to me, and it's always kind of fun to go back in my old books. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that technique, or I forgot about that design. So I do love these. Right now, this is it. That's all I've got left. So I'm kind of, I guess, hoarding it. I have some more of these that I got a while back, so I'm using those. This is a 12 by 9, but they also have 10 by 7, which actually I'd rather use, but I can't find mine in the current moment. So I'm going to use the 12 by 9, 300 GSM, 100% cotton. I have a lot of you ask me about that. They're acid free, of course. And the Meeden Paper is great if you're in the UK or out of the US, because the Artisto pads aren't always available everywhere. So there you go. What I'm going to do, and then I've got, you know, I love my Meeden wash and rinse container. I just think they're beautiful. They're really nice and clean on my desk. And I just love them. And you're never going to dump this over. So you have your wash. Always, always wash, wash, wash. You know, just swish it around, get all the paint off of your brush. And then you're going to go into your rinse and just make sure it's rinsed off really good, because you don't want to mix colors just randomly, because if you use opposite colors, you're going to get mud. So really important. Let's see, what else am I using? 1 second here. I'm going to grab a ruler, because if you can hear me over there, what I want to do, 1 second, is divide that paper in 4s as if we were making a card, you know, cards. And you can see how fun, and yet you're practicing. So I really, you know, anymore these days, I like to make practice fun. That's how I try to run my classes and everything else, because then you're going to be inspired to do it. And I think art should be fun. Let me grab a pencil. I travel so much, you guys, going back and forth to my mom and dad's and everything else. So my supplies tend to be a little bit all over the place, unfortunately. But I'm going to draw. I just want to make sure this pen is not going to, okay. All right, I don't want to use this pen. 1 second, guys, sorry about that. That pen is going, so you can use a ballpoint pen, but I have noticed the Pilot pens, I think these are gel rollers, they will, they're not waterproof. So I've got my micro pen here. I'm going to use that. And like I said, I'm just going to divide my paper into kind of 4 sections. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I want to show you, like, you could make art out of this. You could actually frame all these individually, or just cut them out and give, you know, as if we were using these cards here. And you also get your practice in. Okay, let's see. I've got my, just in case you guys didn't know, I have my pink brushes coming out finally in September. It's going to be September 13th. I know it's Friday the 13th. I'm not real, that has never been a big deal to me, but hopefully that doesn't sabotage my whole release. It will be a limited release too, because I'm a small artist, so they're only going to make so many. Okay, so let's start first with thin lines. And let's just take a card here, just pretending like this is 4 cards, and wet our brush. Got my paper towel here. Here's some paper. I'm just going to use what's in here. So you use, this is important too, like use the colors you like. If I get really excited to use my purples and pinks, but if what's really pretty to you is earthy colors or greens, use that by all means. So I've got my paint in here, 50-50, about 50 paint, 50 water. When I'm loading my brush, doesn't matter how much is in here. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to get rid of some of that excess paint. Now let's practice those thin lines, which I hold right here about where the crimping is. And by the way, these brushes I designed, I mean, I've always used snappy brushes, but they're perfect for beginners. I love them for my beginner classes because they're kind of snappy and they're easier to control. And the softer a brush is, the more water it's going to hold and be a little bit harder to control. I love them, but I think they're, for beginner, the snappier brushes are much better. And for the thin line, I'm going to be using that beautiful little point. I designed this, by the way, after that Princeton long round 6 that you know I love. So this is my 8 round, and anchoring my hand here. By the way, look at my nail polish. Yee, I made it purple today. So thin lines. Let's just curve them a little and have some fun with them. And you could absolutely give these away as a gift. I think this would be a beautiful card. So this is also just light pressure, you guys. And make it fun. Like, look how fun this card is. Isn't that fun? Here we go. To me, this is the perfect evening practice. And you're getting in, you're developing, while you're having fun, you're developing your muscle memory. So keep going here, just going every which way. Add a little bit more water. There we go. Maybe some longer ones, shorter ones. And look at the movement in this. Like, you could play with that too. Play with how it's leading the eye around. Get used to that. That can be part of your practice. Like, oh, I noticed how lines are moving in my painting. And you can also switch the colors. You don't have to stick with purple. Like, just make it fun. To me, when these things are fun, you're going to want to pull out your paper and you're going to want to paint. You're going to want to practice these lines and practice strokes, brush strokes, because they're so fun. And then you can even give them away. So there you go. Thin brush strokes. You could even do a wash in the background, but I digress. Okay. So the second one I want to do is, let's maybe create a little abstract here. So a flat wash. And I'm going to actually change the color just for interest. So let me grab, as usual, I've got my MeiLiangs here. I did spray these. Notice I load the side of my brush. I dig this brush, you guys. I can't wait for you guys to see it. So let's practice our flat wash. I don't know if that's dry. I don't want to put my hand in it, so I'm going to turn my paper. And let me just make sure you can see. So here's a flat wash. This is going to be a really cool. I've seen people sell huge paintings with this technique, and at the same time, you're getting in your practice. So I wet my brush. I picked up my paint 50-50. And I'm actually, let's just find somewhere to put that paint. Here we go. Because I want to be able, there we go. So look how much liquid I have in there. As long as I tap my brush off, I've got what I need on here. So let's do a little flat wash. Uh-oh, I already, you know what, that's fine. So with a flat wash, what you want to do is the same even amount all the way across, okay? So I'm going to start up here. I've got a damp brush. It's not too wet, although it could have a little bit more water because I'm covering a large area. And I'm going to use the side of my brush. There we go. So see, I could use more here, because I'm covering a wide area. So notice I don't have puddles. It's just shiny. Now, before that gets too dry, I go in, tap off my brush, rinse it a bit, and I just start pulling that line down. Wet my brush, tap it off, scrape it off, start pulling it down. And there you go. Look at that beautiful wash. You can always hold your paper up, But see how it's glistening, it's shiny, it's not puddling, pulling, any of that stuff. So that's gonna be the first one. Now that's a flat, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry, you guys. That's a graded wash, not a flat wash. A flat wash should be the same color all the way down. I love graded washes. So that's graded, meaning it goes from dark to light. Let's do a flat wash. Loading my brush. There we go. No puddles, same even beautiful color all the way. There is your flat wash. No puddles, nice and even. Look at that. Not pretty? Flat wash. So sorry, you guys, that was a gradiated wash, and kind of, I love doing gradiated washes. It's relaxing to me. Now let's go for something like maybe a orange into red. So I'm going to start with, let's pick up our orange. I'm just going to use CAD orange here, which I think I actually do have in my palette here. Or you know what, let's use CAD yellow. I think that'll be a little bit funner, a little bit more contrasting. So I've got my yellow in there. Probably need a little bit more. Let me grab some more here. There we go. I want to have quite a bit. And then I've got my red right here. So what I'm going to do is start off with the red. Here we go, just as if I'm doing that flat wash. I don't want too much water in my brush, just tap, tap. And then let's start right here. And we're starting as if we're doing a flat wash, no puddles. See, I've got some puddles, so I want to even that out. Now, before that dries, I want to pick up my yellow, lay that down the same way, working kind of fast here, no puddles. Now I start inching my way up. And I've seen people just go straight from the red into the yellow, but this is my process. And look at the beautiful color in between. Now you could definitely hold your paper up, but notice again, it's just shiny. It's not puddles or pools or anything like that. Now I'm going to leave it because I don't want to go back in there. If I went back in there, I risk a blossom or a bloom. Now that worked out pretty good, and the reason I didn't get a blossom or a bloom was because both areas were the same wetness. But look how beautiful. Then let's see, what else do we have? So I think that's it. We've got our flat wash, we've got our graded wash, and we've got our variegated wash, which is 2 colors. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? So fun. Now we could just play in here with, maybe we want to make a little square down here with a flat wash. Maybe in this color. Not a flat wash. I feel like I want to do a graded wash to go from dark to light. Oops, I just dropped water on there. Or we could even do a circle. Again, make it fun. No puddles. And now go into some water. I've just got a damp brush, not too wet. And I'm going to make a circle right here. There's your graded wash. I could add a little bit more color up here if I wanted. And look how fun that is. Maybe I want to do a yellow one here. Again, practicing these graded washes. So I think I will do that yellow here. Wash, rinse my brush, so my brush is just damp. And now pull it out onto the other edge of that circle. So I've got this graded wash here. I've got a graded wash here. Now, isn't that so much more fun than just doing this on a piece of paper? And look at what a fun design that is. Now what we can do, we'll come back to that and just add in maybe some little flowers, dots, whatever you want. We could also do a glaze. I mean, so many things you could do here. Let's play with the side of my brush. I play with the side of my brush a lot. And the way I might use that, actually, I want to grab another color. I'm going to do purple because I feel like it's kind of calling me. Or even blue. We could do, let's see, should we do blue? Yeah, let's do blue. I've got some blue in here. I don't use ultramarine blue very often. I don't know why, but I don't. Kind of weird, huh? So lately I've been trying to kind of use it because it is a pretty color, but for some reason I don't use it. And what a cute card this would be. You could stamp over that. Like, you could do all kinds of stuff. Okay. So let's see, what was I going to do here? Oh, side of my brush. So this is going to be like creating a pattern. Let's move it here because I don't want to stick my hand in that. So using the side of my brush as if I was painting maybe a flower or a petal. So I'm holding my hand sideways, going to use kind of horizontal. And I kind of start with the tip, but I lay my brush down and now come up on the tip. Up on the tip. Just practicing that movement. Up on the tip. Up on the tip. And you could even practice your values here. Like, let me rinse my brush a little bit, get some of that paint off. There's a lighter value. How fun is that? Let's do another lighter value. If I got too much, I can pick some of that up. I don't want to stick my hand in there. Side of my brush. And can you see how putting these brush strokes together could create a flower petal? Just using the tip of my brush to expand it a little bit. Now I feel like I need a darker one here. Side of my brush. And then up on the point. Side of my brush, up on the point. If I put a bunch of these together, I could make a peony. Let's go from bottom to top. Side of my brush to a point. Side of my brush to a point. And playing again with those values so you're getting that practice in as well. Side of my brush to a point. Point, side of my brush. Try it the other way. I mean, all these practices are going to help you develop. When you see something, you're going to go, ah, I know how to make those petals. I want this one, I think, either to be really dark, value. So let's practice that. Point, press. There we go. Point, press. Point, press. And then up on the point. Maybe we need some smaller ones. Or running off of the page. There we go. So I am using the point just to reshape. Get a little bit more paint there. Feel like I need one pointing kind of up that way. And by the way, again, this is a great exercise in composition. So see how they're pointing? Take note of that. Like, where is your eye going and where is it getting stuck? So right here, I feel like I need one in between and kind of pointing that direction. So side of my brush. So look at all the different things you're practicing here. But you're making it fun, and you could give this as a card. Side of my brush. Now I want to play with the sizes. Maybe a small one there. I feel like I need a dark one up in here. and maybe pointing back this way. There we go. Side of my brush. Now maybe we need a little different color. Maybe we just need to make one right there, kind of peeking out. Point, press. Side of my brush. Isn't this fun? To me, this is relaxing. And also so right here, my eye is led by these very light colors. So I want to make sure that, look at that, you could even practice wet and wet. So I want to put a few more lighter colors over here. Otherwise my eye kind of stops right there. So let's lighten the value, meaning adding more water, because the darker ones are probably 80% pigment, 20% water. So let's do another one right here in a lighter value. There we go. So now my eye is going up here, and then it goes, oh, there's something similar. I'm going to go there. Let's see, this one, maybe point this one. Side of my brush. There we go. Side of my brush to a point. Now I feel like I need some tiny ones. Now I've got kind of a puddle there that isn't really what I want, so I'll fix that in a minute. Maybe a dark one right here. Side of my brush. Side of my brush. So I'm pushing down and then lifting up and onto my point. So pushing horizontally. As I move, I'm lifting my hand up. Point, lift my hand up. And then you can use that tip. But how fun is that? And in here, we could stamp over this. We could write happy birthday over it if you're good at calligraphy. So there's that one. Let's see, what should we do for our last one? You could even practice dabs in there, right? So kind of dab, 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 dab. Now keeping in mind those dabs are going to catch people's eye. So watch where you're putting them, because their eye's going to follow those dabs around. Dab, dab, dab. So look at that. It created even more interest. Okay, so have fun with it. Let's see. For our last one, we did values here, more water, less water. So this is about 80% water, 20% paint, but you're still tapping off your brush. So it's not how much liquid is in your brush, how much you're picking up. It's what the mix is in your palette. Let's see here. What else could we do? Let's see if this is dry and kind of play with that. So wiping off my brush here. I need a thicker pen. Hold on. Actually, at this point, because it's dry, I could use this ballpoint pen. So look how fun this is. So now I'll just decorate. Here's some thin lines like that. Maybe do some circles. Just plain here, something like that. But look how interesting. Maybe here we just do lines across. You could use color pencil here. You could use whatever you want. This is always my favorite, is drawing flowers, of course. Like that. You could do this with a white gel pen. Let me grab my white marker. 1 second. Of course, I probably won't be able to find it now. Darn it. Where are my markers? I didn't plan on using that, so let's see. Well, I don't have one right here. I really like my white acrylic marker. but it's not popping out to me right now. Let's see what a white pencil might do. What are these? Color pencil. Well, that doesn't work, does it? You could use gouache. I really like using a white marker though, and I have a perfect white acrylic pen. Hold on, guys, sorry about that. And I don't know how to edit, so I don't know how to cut this part out. Hold on one second. See if I can find my white marker. Oh, here it is, see? So here's my white. This is Ohuhu. Of course, I love Ohuhu. Let me practice a bit. Get this going. I like the acrylic because look how white it is. So I really like that. So we could do, let's see, let's do some flowers here. Look how pretty that is. Or maybe we just want to color in the center of that one. I mean, this is all practicing and then turning it into a card. Now it's not showing up quite as much on the yellow, but that's all right. I have some other Ohuhu markers I'm going to be sharing with you pretty soon that have dual tips, by the way. So you have a fine point and you have a thick tip, and I would normally use that here. But look at how you could turn your practice into something fun. Maybe some leaves. So you get the point. On here, you could do a stamping. I could actually do that real quick for you. 1 second. Let's play with that. Thanks for your patience, guys. Trying to find, you know, if I was much more organized, I would have all this. So here, let me see. What does that one say? It says, let the sunshine in. There you go. What's this one say? This one says, ooh, this one says thinking of you. We'll do I want to do thinking of you. I don't know why. I don't plan on giving this to anyone, but thinking of you. So I'm just going to stamp that in my stamp. And oops, I got it upside down. Now I got mine a little crooked, but you get the point. This would be a perfect card. You practiced your washes. I mean, win, 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 right? So those are just some ideas. Let's come up with something fun for this one. We were going to do some glazes, but now I washed through all that, but we could still do that. Let me grab a different brush from my brushes and more of a flat wash. Hold on here. Let me grab that one. So exciting. Okay, so this is actually my filbert. Let's see, let's create, what wash should we do? Maybe a red, well, we got red and yellow. Okay, let's do purple, and I feel like you guys are watching this telling me what colors to use. Let's do, well, you know what? Let's stick with the red and orange because that'll kind of go, it's crosswise. All right, I'm going to pick up that color that I've been using. Again, about 50-50, something like that. And I'm going to create, there we go. I want it to be a little bit darker than that though. There we go. Now I'm going to let this dry. So here's your flat wash. Using my filbert. Don't want any puddles. Just a nice shiny surface. I have a little bit of a puddle right there, so I'm going to wipe off my brush a little bit, pick it up. I just want it to be shiny. There we go. Okay, let's see. Let's do a yellow with, we'll do a red glaze over it. So I'm picking up some of my yellow paint, and I feel like I just did that crooked. And you could use a flat wash brush here. I'm using my Filbert. There we go. That's pretty much a flat wash. Just shiny. Let's see. How about if we do a circle? That's always kind of fun. And let's do a green. We're going to throw a green in there, you guys. Not going to go with anything else, but these would be separate cards anyways. And we'll practice maybe some wet on wet. Oop, stuck my hand in something wet there. So I'll do a circle here. There we go. Maybe a little bit wetter. And now I'll do maybe a yellow next to it. I feel like I want that to be a little bit darker. That is sap green, by the way. So it's a little bit wetter than these. And now let's go in and just touch in before it dries with that yellow. Ooh, look at that. So again, we're playing here, but look how fun. Look what we're discovering, wet and wet. A little bit more of that green. There we go. Maybe a little bit of that red. Making a little circle here. Oop. I encourage that to spread. So you're seeing that wet and wet there. And this will be dry in a minute, and we'll do up there as well. So look at that. You're practicing wet and wet. And what a cute card. Let's do a red circle. Now, when I'm doing wet and wet, I use quite a bit of water, obviously. There we go. Now let's use some of that yellow. Go back in there. Ooh, look at that. How fun is that? Now let's even, because a lot of times I think of water as a color. So look if I wet my brush. And it kind of pulls a lot of that color in. So look how interesting that is. Now I'm going to give this a quick shot with my dryer. I hope this is fun for you guys. As I always talk about, and I might do my next online course as something like this, is having these practices and techniques that you don't feel like, oh, I got to sit down, I got to practice, I got to do this and that. And it's just kind of fun. Let me just shoot those real quick with a dryer so we can do some glazing. And what fun cards that would be, especially if you use stamps. Let's dry this up. I really want to dry the washes. There we go. And funny, watercolors, you'll know they're dry because they dry lighter. But look at these fun effects we have here. That would be a beautiful card. And so fun to sit down and, these are the kind of things I do at nighttime, you guys. I think those are pretty dry. This little guy gets pretty hot. It's just, I don't know, what is this? I think it was $12 or something. Chandler tool. Got that on Amazon. Because in the winter here, it gets really cold and I sometimes can't dry things. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's do some type of geometric shape. over this. So I'm going to pick up my yellow. Oh, paint it on myself there. Put some of that in here. There we go. Isn't that a great little brush, you guys? I'm so excited to share these with you. And we're going to do a glaze. Now, important with the glaze, you don't want to keep going over it because you're going to end up mixing it. So I want to do just a couple swipes. So here we go. Okay, one more. There we go. And it's going to start having an orangey look. Now on the yellow, let's do the red. So we'll just do something like, there we go. So you're doing this glaze. And look at that. It turned orange. It turned orange here. I hope you can see that. Feel like I need one more over here to kind of even it out. So maybe we'll do, again, you don't want to go over this too much because then it'll just mix the colors together. You want to see that sheerness. So orange, orange, isn't that gorgeous? Now you could have fun with this. Make sure I got it all out of my brush. Look at what a beautiful card this could be. Now on here, you could stamp something. You could paint little flowers. We could do some splattering. That's another practice. I feel like with the green, because we've only got one spot of green here. Let's see, where's my green? Here's my green. Let's pick up some of that for splatters. You want it to be pretty wet. Put that in here. A little bit more paint. And we could do some splatters. I mean, look how fun that is. So there you go, you guys. I hope you give this a try. I hope, because I feel like the more fun you have, the more you're going to want to practice. And the more you practice, you're going to get better at the muscle memory. The more muscle memory, you're going to feel a lot more sure of yourself and confident. You're going to see something and be like, ah, I know how to do that. I know how to create interest. I know how to do a wash on a petal or a sky. I know how to do these brush strokes, thin strokes, and the side of my brush for a petal, and all of these fun things. So there you go, you guys. Have fun with this. And if you are interested in my online course, I only have one, and I try to do all these different things. I'm always going to be giving you free stuff here. Always, always. Instagram too, but Zoom classes occasionally. But the online course is just really fun. It's comprehensive. There's worksheets, and it kind of goes over a lot of these things. And in the end, you get to paint a beautiful floral. So the online class link is right here. My brushes coming out in September. I don't know how many they're going to be releasing. They did tell me it'll be a small release. I'm a small artist, so that makes sense. There's 5 of them. I love them. I'm so excited. You guys helped me design them. Here's the link for that right up there. And happy painting. Have fun. Be inspired. Paint with the colors you like. And thank you so much for being here in my community, you guys. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.